Hey there, Stampers, and thanks for joining me today. I'm really excited to share this card with you today. I designed this card for a swap that I'm doing in Fiji. You heard right, Fiji. This year our Stampin' Up! Incentive trip is in Fiji, and as this video makes its way to you, I will be on my way there with a whole bunch of cards just like this to swap with other demonstrators who also earn this trip. I'm pretty excited about it. And just a side note, I won't have any more videos for the next couple of weeks until I return. Don't worry, there'll be plenty more when I get back. So you want to see how it's done? Let's get started. I'm going to start with our image panel shape, which uses this framelit from the APOTHECARY Accents framelit collection. Our multi-purpose cutting platform is closed, which is tab 2. One cutting pad on top, and one sheet of Early Espresso and one sheet of crumb cake. I found I can cut these both together, and to save time, I'm doing it. So we'll just put the framelit right on top, second cutting pad over that, and crank it through your big shot. And it's like magic. These are the two panels that we're going to use. If you wanted to, you could use these as accents on a different project. The other panel we'll be using the big shot for is the background texture. This is the LACY brocade folder. I'm going to place some crumb cake right in here. And I have all of the measurements for this project and all of the supplies that I used on my blog, and you can simply click in this link in the description below of this YouTube video, and that will bring you right to this project's page. Simple and easy, one click. Okay, sandwich that between two cutting pads. Opening the multi-purpose cutting platform to tab 1, leaving it open face sandwich. Place that on top and crank it through. And our end result is, wow! I love these textured impressions folders. This is going to be our main image panel, and the Hydrangea and the Hope image are both embossed in Early Espresso embossing powder to match the accent on the side. I used the Best of Flowers, which came out in March. It's the Stampin' Up's Best of 25 Years collection, and they were spot on with these flowers. The Hydrangea, one of my favorites of all time from when I first started stamping. And also the Blooming with Kindness stamps that we'll be using. The Hope is a Wish with a little more clout, which of course you could change to any of these greetings to make this good for all occasions. So we're doing a little heat embossing. I'm using some VERSAMARK watermarking ink pad, and I know everybody's went, look at that VERSAMARK pad. But you know what? It's beautiful, and I love it. It's a very well-loved VERSAMARK pad. If you're not familiar with VERSAMARK, when it comes, it's white. We're going to go ahead and ink up our hydrangea in the VERSAMARK and then stamp it on our panel. I even stamped the stem off the bottom edge just a hair. And stamp our words to the left. I'm just folding a piece of scratch paper from my printer in half. This is Early Espresso embossing powder. I'm going to pour that right over the top, right over that scrap paper. It's already beautiful and it's not even heated yet. Flick off any excess on the back and just use that crease line to pour that powder right back into the jar. These jars last forever. Next we have our handy dandy heat emboss tool. This is one of my all-time favorite techniques. 10 years I've been doing this and it always gets a wow out of me. This particular image is line art and it's a little bit hard to see the embossing. If it were a bold image you would see it better, but it's still striking. Now to color, I'm just going to pull in a little bit of scrap paper. I've got 2 ink pad refills, Wisteria Wonder and Old Olive. And I'm just pouring a little bit of each onto an old Brad lid container. And next I have a blender pen. This is just kind of clear without any ink on it. And I'm using it to color with the ink refills. I'm going to dip it right into the Wisteria Wonder. And I'm starting in the center of my hydrangea because that's where I want it darkest. And I'm just working around in a circle. And then if I need a little bit more ink, again, I'm going to start towards the center with that and then work out. Because the edges I want very, very light to give it dimension. And then to switch colors, I'm just going to wipe any excess, if there's any left, onto my scrap paper. And then I'm going to pick up our Old Olive Green. And again, I want it darkest at the tips of the leaves, so I'm going to start with those and then start pulling the color down. Alternating between the leaves so they go from darker to lighter. the color shade has already brought this to life and given it some dimension, but I'm taking a white gel pen and just drawing a couple little lines in here for the leaves, a couple little accents. And then in the darker part of the hydrangea, I'm just dotting the center of the flowers. Not the whole hydrangea, just where it's darkest, I think. As you can see from the end result, that really made it pop. Now I have an Early Espresso marker to match the Early Espresso embossing powder and paper that we're using. I'm taking the brush tip end and I'm sliding it into our Color Spritzer. About halfway. Now this has a squeezy end. I like to call this stress relief, and you really want to give it a good squeeze like a stress ball. You don't want to be, it's not a, this isn't dainty. It's not a little pss, pss. You want to go, get that aggression out. Now remember, when you're squeezing with this, the air is going to come out like this, so make sure you're aiming in the right direction. Make sure you're not aiming at your pants. I'm holding it up about 6 to 8 inches. I want this to be really, really faint. And that did it. Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, now for one little accent on this, I'm taking the Early Espresso panel that we cut and I'm just cutting off the ends of it. I'm putting a little snail adhesive on the back on the ends. Then attaching our ends to our ends. I'm attaching our textured panel to a crumb cake base, so it's crumb cake on crumb cake. I really love the look of this. And then Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of our main panel. We'll attach it to the front of our card. Absolutely beautiful. I think it's probably even more beautiful in person. So, so pretty. I'm in love with it. I'm very, very happy, and I'm very proud to be swapping it in Fiji. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to visit my blog for daily inspiration, hundreds more videos. Thanks for joining me today.